More FPL. Today it's time for my Gameweek 12 preview, and I'll start by briefly reviewing Gameweek 11. I'll then discuss the top 3 transfers in for each position so far this game week. I'll finish by outlining my plans this week in terms of transfers, starting 11 and captaincy. So before talking about Gameweek 12, let's briefly review my Gameweek 11 score. It was a good week with 69 points, where Cancelo and Trent were the heroes. Rafinha scored, James and Captain Salah assisted, and Ramsdale got a clean sheet. My Brentford double-up of Mbeumo and Tony disappointingly again failed to deliver. I unfortunately benched Foster's 11 points, but at least my starting keeper did well this time. I had another 2 clean sheets on my bench, behind other players that blanked too. More FPL. Now let's look at the top 3 transfers in so far this week, in each position. So let's talk about goalkeepers, starting with Alex McCarthy of Southampton, who got a clean sheet. It's now 5 for the season and 3 in the last 4 in an improved Saints back line. They face Norwich this week, but then have a bit of a tougher run, starting with Liverpool. Next is Aaron Ramsdale of Arsenal, who also got a 5th clean sheet and 2nd in a row. The Gunners have quite a tough run of fixtures, starting with Liverpool this week. Both him and McCarthy are only just behind Edouard Mendy of Chelsea at the top. Last is Vicente Gaeta of Crystal Palace, who got a 4th clean sheet and 2nd in a row. Palace have a good next 10 fixtures, only facing Man United and Spurs of note. He also looks like a decent budget option, although slightly behind McCarthy and Ramsdale. More FPL. Now let's talk about defenders, starting with Reece James of Chelsea, who got an assist this week. He's now got 4 goals and an assist in 490 minutes in a solid Chelsea defence. They've only conceded 4 goals and were unlucky not to get a clean sheet against Burnley. The upcoming fixtures are mixed, but they've shown they can keep a clean sheet against anyone. Next is Joao Cancelo of Man City, who got a clean sheet and 2 assists this week. He's now got 4 assists, and City have the 2nd best defence in the league. He's played on the left, but can also play on the right, which increases his chances of playing. City have a great run of fixtures coming up, and his attacking threat is always there. Last is Tino Livramento of Southampton, who got a 5th clean sheet of the season this week. It's now 3 clean sheets in 4, and he's also got a goal and assist so far. As mentioned, the fixtures get tougher after Norwich this week, starting with Liverpool. He sits on the bench for lots of teams, but we'll have to consider starting him more now. More FPL. Now let's talk about midfielders, starting with Conor Gallagher of Crystal Palace, a great budget option. A 2nd double-digit return in a row means he's now 2nd top point-scoring midfielder. He's now scored 4 and assisted 4 so far, and shows no signs of slowing down. The next 9 fixtures look pretty inviting, apart from maybe Man United in Gameweek 15. Next is Emile Smith-Rowe of Arsenal, who's also looking like a great budget option. A goal this week made it 3 goals and an assist in his last 3 matches. There were fears of rotation a few weeks back, but he seems nailed for now. As mentioned before, the fixtures toughen up now, but he's cheap enough to be benched. Last is Heung-min Son of Spurs, who blanked this week in Conte's first game. We'll be expecting a new manager bounce now, after an indifferent start for Spurs. They also have an amazing fixture run with Leeds, Burnley, Brentford and Norwich up next. Son is probably the top target, and maybe a double up with Harry Kane or Sergio Reguilon. More FPL. Finally, let's talk about forwards, starting with Mikel Antonio of West Ham, who blanked this week. He remains as top point scoring forward despite only returning in 1 of the last 5. His transfers probably point more to a lack of other good options than his own form. The Hammers have a tough fixture run, but then they did win and score 3 against Liverpool. Next is Adam Armstrong of Southampton, who scored the winner in the match against Villa. He's now scored in 2 successive games, was on the bench for the 2 before that. He appears to be safe to start for now, but the return of Armando Broja brings doubts. As mentioned, the fixtures get tougher after Norwich this week, starting with Liverpool. Last is Raul Jimenez of Wolves, who blanked in the last match against Crystal Palace. In the 5 matches before that though, he got 2 goals and 3 assists, only blanking once. He's still the 5th top point scoring forward, and there aren't many better options. Wolves have West Ham and then Norwich and Burnley, before facing Liverpool and Man City. More FPL. So now let's talk about my plans for this game week, starting with transfers. I rolled the transfer last week to leave myself the flexibility of 2 free this week. The plan was Saka and Vardy to Son and Jimenez, and that's probably what I'll still do. I'll give Mbeumo and Toney one last chance at least with the Newcastle fixture. I'm still looking to do Diaz to Chilwell at some point when I have nothing more pressing. Next, who will be in my bench and which players am I considering for the captaincy? Brownhill is always on my bench, but I'm not sure which keeper to bench at the moment. I'll have a bit of a benching headache with the rest of my squad after my transfers as well. For captaincy, I'll probably go Salah, given his form, and Liverpool can score against anyone. It's tempting to go Son and hope that Spurs click straight away in their easier fixtures. I'll post my transfers and final team selection on Twitter, so follow me at @more_FPL. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Add your own thoughts and questions in the comments, and I'll try to get through as many as I can. Never miss a game week preview by subscribing and turning on notifications. More FPL.